Hi, I'm Sarah O'Callaghan. I'm a psychotherapist specialising in working with parents. So how does our own sense of being parented impact on our ability to raise our children? Whether we wanted to or not, the way in which we were parented influences our own parenting. Some of this is unconscious, and while some patterns might be helpful, others we may have to unlearn. What can be difficult for some parents is finding that they default to the ways in which they were parented when they want to work hard on doing things differently. Commonly, in today's generation of parents, we're starting to recognise that for all we may have had happy memories of childhood, there may have been times where we felt unable to say what we think or feel. Perhaps this meant having to tread carefully around parents with unpredictable moods, or being blamed for upsetting an adult who were themselves not able to recognise that children are not responsible for how they chose to react. In the past, children were very often seen and not heard, and so our emotional needs were not always met. Unconsciously, this might mean that we had to withdraw into ourselves and keep our feelings in, as it didn't feel safe or comfortable to consider doing anything else. We might also have had a parent who could not tolerate any difficult behaviour or distress, and they themselves may have become angry or excessively upset. Again, we are likely to have interpreted this as if we are responsible for the happiness and well-being of others. If you grew up in a family that rarely showed affection, it may feel difficult to express warmth, or we might go out of our way to make sure we do the opposite. Growing up in a home where there was a lot of control over what we did, or where there was a heavy parental influence, might mean that we never developed a sense of self in understanding what our own thoughts are about ourselves and the world around us. Adults who have experienced this can find it hard to trust their own judgment. We may find that with our own children, we struggle to allow them the freedom to take appropriate risks due to various anxieties that were placed on us as a child. Conversely, we might hold our parents on a pedestal and feel we have to work hard to make sure we do things as well as them. This can, however, be difficult when we are in a world where there's increasing pressure to do things right, and there are a number of different stressors that exist in today's world. Putting lots of pressure on ourselves to do well can come about if our own parents praised us for our achievements or academic work, i.e. the things that we did rather than who we were. In doing so, our parents may have unintentionally placed high expectations onto us, leading us to develop perfectionist standards. Being aware of this is important, as not only can it help us to have more acceptance of ourselves as imperfect humans, but also foster a more balanced approach with our own children, enabling them to develop self-worth in spite of their achievements. Breaking unhelpful parenting patterns takes time and work to consciously be aware and choose to do things differently. One of the most helpful things we can do when in a situation like this is be aware of when we are starting to get into the habit of self-criticism or self-blame. We often do this without realising, and once we get better at spotting the way we talk to ourselves, the more opportunity we have for repair. Once we've recognised this, we can learn to respond more compassionately. We all react to our children in ways that we wish we hadn't sometimes. We are all human. However, if you are able to do the repair with your child, you can have compassion for yourself that your reaction was the unintended consequence of your inner child. Allowing yourself to see parenting as a long-term journey where you will sometimes get things right and sometimes you will want to do things better is a far more realistic approach to take, rather than an all-or-nothing outlook where you feel you are being either a good parent or a bad parent.
Hi, my name is Sarah O'Callaghan. I'm a psychotherapist with almost 20 years experience of working in the NHS and private practice. You can find me on Instagram at The Motherhood Therapy or on my website, themotherhoodtherapy.com. I've just spent the day filming with MindFriend. Check them out for more content.